On August the 2nd, 10 more children were returned to Ukraine, whom Russia had abducted in the temporarily occupied territories. For each of them we have to fight on a personal basis, because the process is as complicated as possible. Moreover, Moscow often simply refuses to do business with Kyiv directly. For example, this time the children were taken out by the civil organization Save Ukraine. To return little Ukrainians home, their relatives must personally go to Russia to pick them up.
This process is very lengthy. This is from 1 to 2 weeks. When the parents go there, then stay on the territory of the Russian Federation, go through all these bureaucratic procedures, confirmation of kinship, and only then receive the child. They should also appear very often in propaganda videos in order to whitewash the reputation of Putin and Lvova-Belova later.
In order to speed up the process of returning children, Ukraine insists on the creation of a single return procedure. It is planned to involve a third state or a number of countries, and the agreement itself must be official and approved at the international level. Then, if Moscow continues to keep the children, sanctions pressure on Russia and international assistance to Kyiv may further increase. According to experts, now Ukraine has the opportunity to achieve such an agreement. But the main task is to ensure that the Kremlin could not use the illegally deported children for blackmail. Belarus is helping Moscow in committing this international crime.
We are talking about the fact that now there are such countries and there are even organizations which in principle the Russian Federation it is ready to agree to return at least a certain number of children to. The main condition is not to allow the Russian Federation to somehow decide the fate of our children, that is, prevent it from developing any plans for returning the children, preventing it from assessing the best interest of the child, and so on.
Journalists of the Belarusian Investigative Center found out that several relatives of Alexander Lukashenko personally supervised the process of deportation and placement of children in the so-called health centers. In these places in Belarus and Russia, children are exposed to propaganda, forced to issue Russian documents, and in some cases are sent for combat training. At the same time, the conditions and safety at such facilities are often minimal. For example, in one of these camps in the Voronezh region, a local resident raped 4 illegally deported children aged from 10 to 12 years old, according to the Russian media. Allies of Ukraine demand that Russia stop the deportation and return the kidnapped children home. One of the worst incidents we have seen in this war is the deportation of Ukrainian civilians to Russia, including civilians who have been forcibly separated from their families. We call, as we have before, for Russia to stop those abusive actions and return Ukraine's children. Matthew Miller, spokesman of the US State Department. According to the Geneva Conventions, the deportation of children in order to impose on them a different national identity is a form of genocide. Therefore, in March of this year, the International Criminal Court in The Hague issued an arrest warrant for Vladimir Putin and Maria Lvova-Belova, Commissioner for Children's Rights under the President of Russia. Russia wants to deport another 10,000 Ukrainian children from the temporarily occupied territories by the end of summer. Such orders were received by the occupation administrations. According to the Center for National Resistance under the command of the Special Operation Forces of the Armed Forces of Ukraine. According to them, they plan to take Ukrainian children to camps in Dagestan, Chuvashia, the Krasnodar region and other regions. The project is directly supervised by Vladimir Putin's United Russia Party. Reported by Pavlo Shtelmach, Danilo Kobza, UATV News.